There's a place in Tennessee where the air itself feels heavy with dread, a place where the land holds centuries-old secrets of terror. Welcome to the Bell Witch Cave, home to a haunting so terrifying that even today no one dares to spend the night near it. The Bell Witch isn't just a story, it's a legacy of darkness that has claimed lives and left an entire town trembling. In 1817, on a quiet farm in Adams, Tennessee, the Bell family became the unwilling host to one of the most notorious hauntings in American history. For years, their home was besieged by a dark, unseen force that tormented them day and night. But what was it? A curse, a malevolent spirit, or something even more sinister? This is the story of the Bell Witch, a haunting so terrifying that it not only took the life of John Bell, the family patriarch, but left behind a trail of fear that still grips the region today. The Bell Witch haunting wasn't just a localized event. It was witnessed by scores of people, documented in newspapers, and even investigated by famous historical figures like Andrew Jackson, who famously said, "I'd rather fight the British than the Bell Witch." But the most unsettling part? The source of the haunting has never been explained. What makes this story even more horrifying is the undeniable fact that real people, respected members of the community, neighbors, clergymen, witnessed the Bell family's ordeal. It's not just a ghost story whispered around campfires. It's a documented case of supernatural terror that continues to baffle historians and paranormal investigators alike. Could you survive living under the constant gaze of something inhuman, something filled with hatred? Let's find out as we dive into the true story of the Bell Witch. The story began innocuously enough, as many terrifying tales do. In the late summer of 1817, John Bell was surveying his farmland when he spotted a bizarre creature lurking at the edge of the woods. It had the body of a dog, but its face was wrong. Some accounts describe it as a rabbit, others as something far more monstrous, with glowing red eyes that seemed to burn holes into Bell's soul. Instinctively, John Bell raised his rifle and fired. The creature let out a shriek, half animal, half human, before disappearing into the brush. That night, the Bell family settled into their usual routine. But as the house fell into the silence of sleep, faint tapping sounds began to echo through the walls. At first it was subtle, like a twig tapping against a window, but as the nights passed, the sound grew louder, more aggressive, and more frequent. The noise seemed to come from everywhere at once: the walls, the floorboards, even the ceiling. Within weeks, the nightly disturbances became unbearable. The sound of tapping evolved into the unmistakable sound of knocking, violent, angry knocks that echoed through the home, followed by the eerie scrape of what sounded like chains being dragged across the floor. The Bell children, especially the youngest daughter Betsy, began waking in the middle of the night, screaming in terror. Betsy's nights soon became nightmares. Invisible hands seemed to reach out from the darkness, pulling her hair, slapping her across the face, and leaving her covered in scratches and bruises by morning. Her once playful spirit withered away, replaced by fear and exhaustion. As the attacks worsened, her parents were powerless to protect her. By early 1818, the entity had found its voice. It started as whispers, soft, incoherent murmurs heard late at night. But soon, it became clear. The voice was female, but unnervingly distorted, as if it came from deep within the earth itself. It taunted the family with cruel laughter, cackling at their misfortune. Neighbors who visited the house heard the voice as well, and it was not long before the entire town was buzzing about the Bell Witch. The witch began to communicate with frightening clarity, claiming to be Kate, a spirit set on tormenting John Bell until his death. The haunting wasn't confined to the Bell household. Visitors, drawn by curiosity, would often leave in a state of terror after witnessing strange occurrences firsthand. The witch began mimicking the voices of those around her, laughing at their confusion. Objects flew across the room, doors slammed shut on their own, and the once peaceful Bell farmhouse turned into a house of horrors. Even Andrew Jackson, future president of the United States, was said to have visited the Bell property. Jackson, intrigued by the local tales of witchcraft and ghostly apparitions, arrived with a team of men to investigate. But as soon as they neared the Bell property, their carriage wheels locked up, refusing to move despite the horse's best efforts. Jackson reportedly remarked, By the Eternal, I swear this is the work of the Bell Witch. The haunting continued unabated, and Jackson left without staying the night. As the witch's wrath grew more focused, John Bell became her primary target. His health rapidly deteriorated. He suffered from strange bouts of swelling in his throat, leaving him unable to speak or eat for days. The witch would taunt him mercilessly, mocking his frailty and promising that his days were numbered. Betsy's torment also worsened. She was plagued not only by physical attacks, but by relentless psychological warfare. The witch would whisper horrifying things in her ear, telling her to end her life or to run away and never come back. Betsy, barely more than a child, was on the verge of a complete breakdown. By the winter of 1820, John Bell's health was in a steep decline. On December 20th, he was found unconscious in his bed, and nearby was a strange vial of dark liquid that no one in the family recognized. The witch's voice filled the room, laughing and taunting as it proudly declared, "I gave him the poison and he is dead." John Bell passed away that day, and the witch's claim that she had murdered him spread like wildfire through the town. The vial was tested on the family's cat, which died instantly after drinking it. But what was the liquid? No one ever found out. It remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the case. John Bell's funeral was a solemn affair, but even then, the witch would not be silenced. As his body was lowered into the ground, the witch's mocking voice echoed through the air, laughing and singing songs of joy. After John Bell's death, the paranormal activity in the Bell household began to die down, but the entity didn't disappear entirely. Instead, it seemed to retreat into the nearby cave, now known as the Bell Witch Cave. Over the years, visitors to the cave have reported eerie whispers, strange sightings, and an overwhelming sense of dread as they explored its dark depths. Even today, the Bell Witch Cave remains a hotspot for paranormal activity. People have claimed to see shadowy figures, hear unexplained voices, and feel cold hands touch them in the darkness. Local legend warns that anyone who disturbs the cave too much may suffer the same fate as John Bell. Do you believe the Bell Witch was a malevolent spirit, or was there a more earthly explanation behind these terrifying events? Could this be one of the most compelling cases of supernatural activity in American history? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you've ever experienced something similar, I'd love to hear your story. If this story sent shivers down your spine, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life horror stories and unsolved mysteries. You never know when the next tale might uncover a chilling secret you haven't heard before. The Bell Witch haunting is one of the most infamous paranormal events in history, documented by multiple witnesses and still baffling experts centuries later. From the death of John Bell to the enduring mystery of the Bell Witch Cave, the case remains unsolved and continues to inspire fear and fascination alike. Next time, we'll take you to a place known as the Gates of Hell, where an asylum was abandoned after years of gruesome deaths and inexplicable phenomena. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.